we are drowning in debt. Most of it is self-inflicted debt. It's that I didn't need.
Working hard and still struggling with debt is like crazy.
Over 100 million people have some kind of debt.
Everybody is in debt.
Week 2 of how I talk about how me and my husband are drowning in $60,000 worth of debt.
What's going on, J2? What's going on?
Oh, here we go again.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy J2A SMS. I'm back with another banger for y'all. Today, what we're gonna be talking about is a little bit of debt. People are drowning, absolutely drowning in debt. More specifically, we're gonna compare how so many people are looking around, comparing their terrible debt situations to other people and continuing to spiral into madness. If you don't want to spiral into madness, drop a like and a sub on the video for your boy. I would greatly appreciate it. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and hopefully you get something positive out of the video yourself. Without further ado, guys, let's get into our first clip. I don't know why I just swiped so awkward like that. Let's do it again. Without further ado, guys, let's get into our first clip.
Everybody is in debt. And before you say that you're not in debt, I don't mean everybody, but I feel like there's this comparison game of like, how are these people affording to do these things? How are they affording to shop all the time? How are they affording to go on vacations and have these huge houses and these nice cars? It's because they're in debt, okay? Because the only debt my husband and I have is our house and our student loans, and we live like super frugally on a budget. And then I see people who have probably the same debt who live like very lavishly, and you know, it's not like comparison is the thief of joy, but we all have to remember that like a lot of these people that are living these lives are in debt. So stop comparing yourself.
A lot of people in today's economy are keeping their lifestyles afloat by just pumping it with more and more and more debt. I gotta stop. I will say, however, I don't know why I stuck my finger up like that. Like, I have a point to make. Bro, I don't know what I'm on today. You don't ever know the background and the true story behind different people's situation. Somebody might have came into some inheritance when they lost a parent or a grandparent. Somebody could have won the lottery. Somebody could be in tons of debt. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't ever know the full scope of what other people got going on. So you can't really compare your situation by looking at what they got going, by saying, hey, I need to compensate by pumping my life with debt to have what they have. But you can't also look at it by saying, hey, I have so much more than this person, because, you know, they could be super rich and just living below their means. They say, like, the richest people, you would never know. You know what I'm saying? The people that look rich is broke, and the people that's broke look rich. Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk, like, they don't wear a lot of designer or drip. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg, since his rebranding, has kind of been, you know, is the drip meister a little bit, but usually the people that got it going on, you would never really know.
Everybody is in credit card debt. I have a friend that travels the world from going country to country, and I asked her, what are you doing for work that lets you travel so much? I've never seen you come home in like 2 to 3 years. And she said, I just left home with 2 credit cards and a dream. We're the same age. We're both 24. And this woman has probably racked up thousands of dollars of credit card debt just so she could travel around and have fun, which, I mean, go for it. You should be living your life, but you should not be living your life at the expense of the rest of it. I mean, you're going to have to pay that back. That's going to eat at you. So if you broke and you're not doing anything, don't feel bad. At least you're not negative broke like the rest of these people.
This is the Gen Z problem. A ton of people in their 20s around my age are caught so much into seeing the different lifestyles of people on the internet and social media that a lot of times are not real, or even if they are real, have been exaggerated to portray a certain image or to make money or some other purpose other than what's actually going on, that it skews your brain to think that you're not doing enough, or you're not enough, or you need to show people more, or the things that you're doing aren't actually valid if you don't show them to everyone in the world that doesn't actually care about you. Like, it's insanity. So here we have a 24-year-old young man. He has a friend he says that she's traveling all over the place, and he asked her what she does for work. And she replied by saying, I have a credit card and a dream. So essentially, she's funding all of her own personal trips around the world on credit cards. And when she gets back, she's gonna have to pay it all back. And she probably won't be able to pay it all back. And she's gonna be drowning in credit card debt for years. Her credit's probably gonna end up getting shot. And in the worst of worst case scenarios, she'll have to file for bankruptcy if she chooses not to live in debt for the rest of her life. That's what a lot of Americans are living. That's the reality of a lot of 20-year-olds specifically. Just because either they're making bad choices or they just don't have a strong understanding of personal finance. And so that's, again, why I'm trying to make these videos, is to bring some more awareness to some of the different issues that people are silently struggling with. And another piece to the video is a thing that I think a lot of people just either choose to not think about, or something that just goes completely over their head, or maybe they don't understand fully. I don't know what it is, but at the end of the day, you do have to pay this money back. This is money that you're borrowing. You do get to have the thing or live the experience from the borrowed money, but at the end of the day, you do have to pay it back at a certain point. And it usually comes at a hefty cost, because when you take out this money, if you don't pay it back immediately right away, which most people never do, because why would you be borrowing it if you already had the money to pay for it right away? But when you borrow this money, it comes with interest. And a lot of times on these credit cards, the interest is absolutely predatory. You could have 36 all the way up to, I've seen like 300% interest on like payday loans and different stuff to borrow money. It's insanity. And what a lot of people don't realize is you take that money, you do the thing, you keep stacking and stacking and stacking and doing more and more and more on the card. And with the interest, it gets so high that your minimum monthly payments are massive, to the point where you can put a whole check towards the debt to try and pay it down. But your principal, which just means the overall money that you owe, never goes down at all, because it's all going towards interest. And so that's how a lot of people get caught in the trap. All in all, just to say, I want everyone to live their best life and do all the things that bring you fulfillment in life, but don't get caught into the interest trap and borrowing money to the point where it cripples and destroys your life.
Don't let nobody make you think you're not doing enough, for real. I know that you might see people driving like the newest car, and they got the newest phone and designer clothes, and they going out every night and they booking all these vacations, and you sometimes feel like, well, I'm only at home going to work and I'm not doing much. Let me tell you something. Those people are deep in debt. I'm gonna tell you that now, because that nice car come with a $500 car payment, with some $400 insurance, okay, and some extra expensive repairs. If your car is paid off, you're blessed, okay? If you open that refrigerator and you can go in it and find a meal of your choice, you are blessed. You see where I'm going with this? If you have a job right now, especially in this economy where the job market is trash, you are blessed. Don't let nobody make you think you're not doing enough because you are choosing to live a life of comfort, okay, away from debt.
As you get older, honestly, you find a lot more peace in just staying at home or doing things that don't really cost a lot of money. Now, guys, when you go out, if you want to go to the bar with your guys, or to the bar on a date, or just to hang out, a single drink or a shot can run you up to like $18 to $20 now. It's absolutely insane. And then those places have the nerve to not let you want to bring a drink in. Like, it's like, bruh, if I buy 2 drinks, I'm gonna have to walk home because I can't get an Uber.
I don't have a driver's license, but I've never been in an accident, so.
How did Uber allow you to sign up?
Well, you work for Uber, right?
Again, in the age of social media, a lot of people are looking around at what other people got going on. People use the fake crafted image of influencers and celebrities and, you know, kind of compare that to their own actual real life when it's not something that's actually obtainable. The people that you're looking at, that's not even their real life fully. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it kind of opens the door for a lot of mental health struggles and people just to not do well if you're constantly looking around and comparing yourself to other people. If you can go to the fridge and you got your favorite meal in there and you don't got to worry about what to eat, you are beyond blessed. As they say, the little things, but when you really think about it in the grand scheme of existence and what other people are able to have, like those are very much privileges. And again, it's not always about how much money you're making. You could be making 500 grand, but if you spend $499, you kind of broke.
Everybody's in debt, guys. Everybody. It's just, how are you managing your debt? The people that I talk to a lot that I'm trying to help, what they're getting used to is managing their debt payments. If they can manage their debt payments inside of their budget, they're good, right? They don't think about the overall debt, the cost. That's not right. Don't do that. Live within your budget. If you're making $5,000 a month and all your expenses and debt payments are coming out to $4,800, then where do you think that's going to lead you? You have no money to save, nothing to build for the future. You want to spend in the future. We like buying new things. You're not building up any kind of resource to do that down the road. So you got to come up with a strategy to get out of debt and save at the same time.
Being able to afford something is very different than being able to make the payment for something. I cannot stress this enough. Like, if you don't take anything else away from this video, I want you guys to remember this. Being able to make a payment on something is not the same as being able to afford something. Being able to afford something means that you are able to comfortably fit it in with all your other life expenses. You're not paying more than 30% for rent or housing, like a mortgage. You are not paying more than 10% of your income on a car. When everything's said and done and all things are paid, you should still be able to have about 20 to 30% left to have fun and invest. And a lot of times with luxury things and different things that you don't necessarily need, people say that you should be able to buy the thing twice or 3 times over. You know, if you want a Lamborghini, you should be able to buy the Lamborghini 2 or 3 times if you can actually be able to afford it. On the other hand, being able to make a payment for something often leads into the downward spiral of debt. People look at stuff and they're like, yo, I want this $40,000 car. I can make the monthly payment if I stretch my loan out for 6 or 7 years at $500 a month. I can be able to make that payment and get that car. And it's like, yeah, you can get that car. That 6 or 7 years that it's gonna take for you to pay that car off is gonna end up costing you way more than the 40 grand because people don't take into account interest. If you can get a super low interest rate on something, that helps. It's still not great, but it does help. But oftentimes, guys, we're seeing upwards of 7, 8, 9, all the way up to I've seen like 17% interest rates on cars nowadays. It's absolute insanity, and that will cook you in the long run. Because that 40 grand that you thought you were paying, when you slap that interest on with that long yearly loan, you're looking at upwards of probably 55, 60 plus $1,000 that you got to pay back. And it's not even something that you think about. And the people that sold you the cars rubbing their hands like Birdman because it's not something that you necessarily thought through, or maybe it's something that you didn't understand. But you know, a lot of times when you're making those payments, you're not seeing how much money actually goes in the long run because you're able to make that monthly. So again, for the 3rd time, just to make sure y'all take it with you, being able to afford something is not the same as being able to make the payment for something. Knowledge.
There's nobody who has a hand rub that is more legendary than Birdman. That's a fact.
I just had a habit of it, like, because they always say if your hand itch, that means you're getting money.
Over 100 million people have some kind of debt, whether that's student loans, personal loans, credit cards, car loans, a mortgage. Everyone essentially has debt. Now recently, I think we've gotten obsessed with having no debt at all, when in reality, you're most likely gonna have debt for the rest of your life. Now with that being said, I think it really just depends on what you wanna do with your life and whether paying off the debt even makes sense. Yes, it's great not to have any debt, but at the same time, you can still have an excellent credit score, purchase a house, get a new car with a lot of debt. My opinion on the debt situation is if it's high interest, pay it off as soon as possible. If it's low interest, then it really doesn't matter. Yes, it's nice to be debt free, but again, you're most likely gonna have debt for the rest of your life. So why are you stressing yourself trying to pay it off as quick as possible?
So honestly, I couldn't disagree with this one more. Yes, the mathematics of what he's saying align. What a lot of people fail to realize is finance, money, and emotions are all intertwined. They're like a DNA strand. Yes, most people are probably gonna have debt for, you know, if not the rest of their life, a majority of their life. And I'm not even talking consumer debt, credit cards, and all that. Like, if you have a house, at the bare minimum, let's say you're completely debt free and you have a house. Houses are super expensive, especially today. You know, you're looking at upwards of $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $700,000 for a house for the average person. More than likely, you're not going to be able to pay that off until the end of your life or as you're in retirement age. And so, yeah, you probably will have debt for the rest of your life or majority of it. However, it is always better to be debt free, and it's always better to pay down your debt and try to remain as debtless or have as little debt as possible, because the average person does not know how to take advantage of low interest rates or take advantage of debt. Debt often takes advantage of them. Somebody could look at it and emotionally use it to make an excuse to get something that they can't afford. Like, oh yeah, I just have a low 2%, 3% interest rate on this debt. Let me take this out. But then they're gonna look and see this other 2, 3% interest debt that can take out. And they're gonna take that out. And they're gonna look at this one and take that out and take that out. And before you know it, you've got 7, 8, 9, 10 M's in my bank account. Who knows how many different debts. Mind you, at a low interest rate, so you're not getting cooked by the interest, but you still have to make those payments for the regular amount. And then you get more comfortable with debt, and what do? Start opening up credit cards, borrowing money from people, family and friends, ruining relationships, all to supplement the debt that you shouldn't even taken out in the first place. All that just to say, I don't disagree in the mathematics of what he's saying. Yes, it's not the end of the world to put all of your bread towards trying to pay off low interest debt, when honestly, mathematically, it would probably do you better just to take a large chunk of that money past a little bit more over the minimum monthly payment and just throw it at the S&P 500 in the stock market. But for the average person, the emotions and the mentality does not align to be able to do that and take advantage of debt in the proper way. And so a lot of people are unable to leverage, buy things that they don't need, that they can't afford, they end up getting cooked. And then that's how we get the national debt into the trillions of dollars.
38 days ago, I made the best decision of my life and brought my credit card debt to the internet. Yes, I was terrified because I didn't want anybody to judge me, but since doing so, we have paid off 2 credit cards in full. I would have never been able to do that quickly if I wouldn't have brought it to Tik Tok. And now we're working on my next lowest card, which is sitting at $560. I do have a lot of big pet sitting jobs coming up over the next few weeks, so we're going to get that paid down very quickly, especially with Tik Tok's help too. If you're watching this right now and you're in a similar situation like me, you're struggling with credit card debt, car debt, student loans, medical bills, whatever it may be, you need to start a series. You're going to find people who are exactly like you, so you're no longer going to feel alone. It's going to hold you accountable.
Here's someone who joined a community, I guess, on TikTok where they were sharing debts. She was posting her experiences. She was looking at other people's experiences with it, and it motivated her to get more educated on how to make the right adjustments to her lifestyle and how to manage her own personal finance. And she started to turn things around and is doing a lot better. If you want to find community, hopefully videos like what I'm trying to do on this channel help you to be able to make better decisions in your life. And hopefully you can each one teach one, you know what I'm saying? Share this video with someone else who you think could benefit from seeing other people who are maybe struggling with the same things that they're doing. And then 2, hear from me about different ways that you avoid some of the situations that get you in a video like this.
Currently drowning in $60,000 worth of debt. I decided to create this secret account to hide from my friends and family who have no idea how bad my financial situation is. My husband works 72 plus hours a week. By the time bills and minimum payments for our credit cards are paid for, there is chump change left for groceries and gas. I'm at my wit's end because I don't know what else to do. We don't even have extra $10, $15 to throw towards debt at this point. I'm really just trying to get in a better financial situation because my worst fear is that my husband can't go to work or something happens and we lose everything. We have no savings. We have nothing to fall back on.
Sometimes it can be embarrassing and shameful for people that end up in these different types of situations. Maybe they got scammed and that's how they ended up in debt. Maybe they have a guilty pleasure that they spend all their money on Labubus. I don't know. But again, that's where I'm saying the overlap between finance, money, and emotion is just so intertwined because a lot of people get into these different types of debt situations because of emotions. Whether that be trying to overcompensate for sadness by buying things to make themselves emotionally feel better, or getting in different situations that are really bad financially and not looking to seek help or find solutions to their issues because they don't want to face it. It's just too much to look at it and see the numbers. It just gives people anxiety and they get scared. And so hopefully, again, my wish with making this type of content is to kind of lift the stigma about talking about money and finances, especially in communities of color, and bring some more awareness so that we can start to see some positive change.
We do not care.
Again, whether you can afford something or make a payment. If you can afford something, it's like, yo, I bought it. I have some bread left over. I have a 6 to 12 month emergency fund on the side so that if something catastrophic happens and her husband loses her job or she loses her job, like how she was describing, that you'll still be okay and you won't have to worry. Versus if you're just able to make a payment on something, if something comes up like an emergency around the house, with your car, personal, anything comes up, you're cooked. Because that payment that you were able to make from relying on that steady income goes away and you don't have any money to fall back on. Now you're in a really bad situation. Especially if you owe people money and have debts, cars, student loans, your house. It becomes bigger than, oh, I just can't afford my lifestyle anymore in terms of getting food or all this other stuff. It's like now I'm getting sued and people are coming after me because I can't pay back my debts.
I hate being an adult, I hate credit card debt, and I'm never going to get this card paid off. With that being said, let's make a payment on my care credit card that I used to pay for my dog's surgery about 5 months ago. So from TikTok, I made $15.29 in 7 days. From SoundMe, I made $33.43 in 7 days. And then I'm going to add $50 from my own paycheck that I'm getting tomorrow to it. So that's me paying $98.72. So that leaves my remaining balance on my card as $2,115.44. Last month, they charged me over almost $360 of interest. So it's just like taking half a step forward and 10 steps back. But it's fine. It will get paid off eventually, and I hope my dog knows how much I love him.
she's only able to put $50 from her actual job salary towards her debt. That tells me immediately that she's got some other stuff going on. It doesn't seem like the $2,000 that she has in debt is a huge amount like we see with some other people on this channel, like the $60,000, $70,000 plus. And so I was unsure if she actually had a job or not. If she does have a job, she probably has super high interest on the debt that she does have that's preventing her from being able to make a substantial dent in this amount of money. She probably also has a lifestyle that's above her means, in the sense that a large chunk of her money that's not going towards debt is probably going to other things like paying for her rent, her car, like a lot of things that are probably higher than what she's able to afford. Or at least I hope that's the case. Worst case scenario is she's taking all her extra money and just dumping it towards stuff she doesn't need, like eating out, buying clothes, taking vacations, and all that type of stuff. If I was in her shoes, I would encourage her to try and lower some of her expenses, downsizing into a cheaper apartment that's not as expensive, or maybe selling her car. Let's say if it's 20 grand, she sells the car and downsizes it into a $5,000 to $10,000 car, and then put the difference that she gets in towards debt, or maybe pick up a second job. Do anything that she possibly can to start making a bigger dent towards the principal balance of her debt, so that she doesn't continue to keep getting eaten up by the interest.
I have $52 left at the bank to last until Friday. Today is Monday. I have $135 coming out between now and then in credit card debt. A little bit stressed, but this is usually how it is for me most weeks. So if you do the math, we're going to be negative a little over $80, and I also have 33 miles left till empty. I can get away with putting about $15 in my car. Let's just say we're going to be negative about $100. Lucky for me though, I did do a pet sitting job over the weekend. It was a small one. I get paid for that today. She owes me $50. A lot of my clients do tip, so when I say I'm drowning in credit card debt, I truly mean I feel like I'm drowning in credit card debt.
This one made me sad, honestly. She seems like she's super resourceful and a nice lady, but this is just not a life that you want to live. I put this one in here because it just sounds like she's penny pinching, right? Relying on tips from dog grooming and different side hustles to just be able to scrape by and put $52 of gas in her tank. And again, this is not to shame her at all. Like, no judgment, no shame whatsoever. I'm just pointing out that I don't think this is a life that she wants to live, and I definitely don't think this is a life you want to live if you're watching this type of content. Or if you are living that life, I'm sure you want to stop living that type of life. And so my biggest thing is just to say, avoid consumer debt, guys. Don't buy stuff that you don't need. Try to save as much as you can. Invest if you can, because I don't think anyone wants to be in a situation like this. Best of luck to this lady. I hope she was able to turn things around and put as much gas in her car as she needs to be able to get to her job. But if you don't want to spiral into debt, make sure you drop a like on the video and subscribe for your boy. Hopefully you guys found this video to be helpful, entertaining, and also informative. And so again, it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Drop a like and subscribe to the channel before you leave. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to get this channel to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible so I can help as many people as possible realize their dreams and become more comfortable with money. With that being said, YouTube thinks you'll like one of the videos popping up down below. As always, thank you guys for watching. Until next time, J2ASMS out of here. Peace.